You are listening to WQSR 92.3.7, the Quarantine School Radio, coming to you live from what used to be the staff lounge beside the gym at Lincoln Middle School on the east side of Columbus, Ohio. My name is Nathan Ruiz. Most people here still call me Coach. I used to teach phys ed and health. Now I read lists of names and try to keep people from losing their minds. If you're within range and can hear this, that means the diesel in the big orange generator out behind the cafeteria has not run out yet. The antenna on the roof is still upright, and the kids on the third floor have not blown another fuse with their stupid hot plate. That is our holy trinity right now. Power, antenna, no fire. Time first. It is Sunday, April 27th, 2029. Local time is 6:23 in the evening, Columbus time. If anyone from the National Guard or the governor's office is listening, that is as exact as I can make it, because the official emergency channel on the shortwave has been dead air since yesterday around what sounded like 0900 hours. If someone out there flipped the switch back on, I did not hear it. Quick inventory for the folks inside the building. If you are in Lincoln Middle right now, this part is for you. Supper is lentil stew with canned chicken, being served from the west end of the cafeteria. Line A is for rooms 1 through 8. Line B is for rooms 9 through 16. Small kids first, then anybody over 60. Masks stay on until you sit. You sit facing the same direction. You do not move between tables. If you take off your mask to cough, Nurse Carla will personally drag you to isolation in room 20. Do not test her. For the record, masks are the layered cotton ones we cut out of old Lincoln Lions t-shirts and pillowcases. They are not magic. They are just one more layer between your lungs and the invisible junk in the air that is trying hard to wipe us off the attendance list. Wear them anyway. Now the virus update. You already know the headlines, but I'm going to repeat them because people forget details when they are tired and scared. The official name, from before the lines went quiet, was Neurorespiratory Hemorrhagic Virus 2. The doctors on the World Health Line kept calling it NRHV2. Here we just call it the air. It spreads by aerosols. That means tiny droplets that hang around in rooms for hours. One cough from an infected person can stay floating for half the day in a classroom with the windows closed. That is not theory. That is from that study out of Minnesota that Dr. Singh printed before the printers died. Symptoms come in 2 stages. Stage 1 looks like a rough flu. Fever, headache, dry cough, sore throat, aching joints. Stage 2 is where it gets ugly and weird. Neurological episodes. That means the virus messes with the brain before it finishes off the lungs. People get confused. They lose track of time. They repeat phrases. They see things that are not there. Some get aggressive. Some just sit and stare at a wall. Then they crash hard when the oxygen levels fall. We lost Mr. Knowles, our math teacher, that way on Thursday. He was one of the first ones in this building who volunteered to stay and help. Big guy, buzz cut, always smelled faintly of whiteboard markers. 2 days before he died, he started insisting it was still March. He kept redoing the schedule on the whiteboard in the main hall, writing the same date over and over. Nurse Carla tried to get him to lie down. He laughed, walked away, and started reorganizing the supply closet by prime numbers. That part was almost funny. Then his oxygen dropped and nothing was funny anymore. I am telling you this not to freak you out, but so you know what to look for in others and in yourself. If you start losing time, if people tell you that you just repeated the same sentence twice and you do not remember, if you wake up somewhere and do not fully recall walking there, you report to medical. I do not care if you think it is stress. We are all stressed. Get checked. All right, housekeeping done. Let us open the line. The call-in frequency for voice is 42.620 megahertz. Line of sight handhelds and car rigs mostly. If you have the old yellow school walkies, those are on channel 3 for internal, channel 7 for relays, and yes, Terry, I know you hate that I changed the old PE channel. You can yell at me later. We are going to start with the outer ring check-in. That means anyone on the east side, 2 to 5 miles out, trying to hold a building or a block together. You say your name, your location, how many people, how many are sick, and what you need most. We keep it short so more voices fit. No sermons, no politics. Save that for the stairwell. This is Coach at Lincoln. Who was out there tonight? I tapped the old board with my knuckle and watched the green LEDs kick up. The little box on the top shelf is an aluminum case Kenwood commercial rig that the district bought 15 years ago for snow days and never actually wired in. The only reason we have a working station is that our custodian, Ray, used to be a ham radio nerd and refused to throw anything out. Ray died last week in isolation in room 14, but his habit of hoarding cables and antennas is feeding us more than the government is right now. A crackle comes through the monitor speaker, then a man's voice, Midwestern, tired but clear.
Lincoln, this is Mark Greer at Beechwood Apartments, Building C, off Livingston. We got 22 people here, 4 sick, 1 bad. Supplies holding 2 days. We had a run-in this morning with some guys trying to grab our food from the lobby. They had pistols. We scared them off. Nobody shot. We need masks and more ibuprofen. Over.
Mark, I hear you. Good job not escalating. For those listening, that is the brick complex with the cracked basketball court and the mural of the lion and the eagle on the end wall. You are about 3/4 of a mile from us. If anyone closer can spare pain meds or cloth masks, you talk to Mark on this frequency after we clear the line and work out a handoff. Mark, have any of your sick shown episodes yet? Any confusion, aggression, odd behavior? Static for a second, then his voice again.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, Tom. He keeps walking to the balcony and asking where the truck is. He does not own a truck. We keep pulling him back in. He gets mad, then apologizes. He is coughing blood now. We put him in the back bedroom. We are keeping the kids away.
Okay, Mark, I'm not going to lie to you. That sounds like stage 2. You keep him isolated. 1 designated caregiver, full mask, goggles if you have them, shower after every contact, no kids in that room, no exceptions. If he gets agitated, do not restrain him face down. You keep his chest clear so he can breathe.
Copy. We got him on his side right now. He is sleeping, I think.
All right. Stay on channel after this segment. I will see what we can scrape together in terms of meds. We are low too, but we can probably spare a bottle or 2 of painkillers and some of the masks your kids drew on. Next caller. The second voice that comes in is a woman with a slight southern drawl and that clipped way of talking that medical staff get when they are running on caffeine and stubbornness.
Lincoln, this is Dr. Priya Singh at St. Anne's Urgent Care on Main and Wilson. We have 19 patients in-house, 6 on oxygen concentrators, 1 on portable tanks, which are almost empty. We have 0 ventilators. Repeat, 0. We are using high-flow nasal cannula rigs we built from spare parts. We have 3 staff nurses left, plus 2 medical students, and 1 very annoyed janitor who now knows more about infection control than some residents I used to work with. Our biggest need is oxygen and sedation meds. Also body bags, but that is optional. Sheets work.
Priya, coach here. How are you holding up personally? Last time you were on your 18th hour. A short laugh comes through, flat and real.
Lost track, coach. I am on whatever hour is after stupid. My hands shake when I tie off IV lines, but I'm still getting them in. How are your lungs?
Dry. A little raw. I am drinking more water. We can lie to the kids, but not each other.
Yeah, you sound rough.
I swallow and the mic picks the click up. Folks, I want you to hear this clearly. St. Anne's is one of 3 clinics left in this part of Columbus that still has trained staff and functioning oxygen. The hospital downtown is overflowed and the guard closed 2 entrances yesterday. Ambulances are running, but you cannot count on them. If you are in walking distance of Main and Wilson and you have medical training, even first aid, consider heading there in the morning. Wear a mask and gloves. Bring your own. Priya, any news from the hospital system?
Last I heard from Grant Medical was 6 hours ago. One of the residents texted me before his phone died. Their intensive care unit is full. They converted the recovery ward and they put stretchers in the chapel. They lost 3 nurses to the virus in one night, plus a security guard who tried to break up a fight in the waiting room. The administrator was talking about closing the doors completely because the staff are turning on each other. That is the status of your famous American healthcare system right now.
Copy that. You need anything non-medical? Food, batteries, extra hands to move bodies?
Food and batteries, yes. Extra hands possibly, but I do not want to drag more civilians into this mess unless they understand the risk. We had a teenager show up this morning wanting to volunteer. She thought wearing a cloth mask was enough. I sent her away. I feel guilty and relieved at the same time.
You did the right thing. If that teenager is listening, your kindness is not measured by how close you get to the fire. Sometimes it is measured by staying alive long enough to carry news forward.
Tell them about the early signs again, Coach. People do not come in until it is too late.
Will do. Hang in there, Doc. We will see if we can push some food your way. We still have the school pantry and the giant box of granola bars from the canceled track meet. I will ask for volunteers who already had it and recovered. For everyone listening, early signs. Again, if you can walk and talk, listen up. Fever over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit that does not drop with basic meds. Persistent dry cough. Feeling of tightness in your chest. But pay attention to your mind too. If you find yourself standing in a room with no idea why you went there more than once in a day, if words get stuck, if family says your eyes look wrong, that may be the virus in your brain. Do not hide it. Hiding it makes it worse. I take a breath and cough once into my elbow. The cough scratches a little deeper than this morning. I do not mention that part. We are going to shift to the outer ring south. Anyone near Obetz, Groveport, or Canal Winchester hearing this, check in. Static rolls for 10 seconds. I almost move on. Then a male voice cuts in, older, raspy, with a faint Appalachian edge.
This is Harold Green in Groveport off Bixby Road, retired truck driver, 68 years old. I got my wife Denise here and my grandson Tyrell, age 11. We are in our house, been sealed up 4 days. We still have canned goods and well water. Neighbors are quiet. Tyrell has a mild fever, but he says he feels fine. No cough yet. We got no weapons except a baseball bat and my old crossbow from deer season. I am mostly calling because my daughter is a nurse at Grant. She has not checked in since yesterday. Her name is Latasha Green. If anyone at the hospital hears this and knows anything, I would appreciate it.
Harold, coach in Columbus here. Good on you for sealing early. You said you have a well. Is it electric pump or hand?
Electric. We got power for now. Lines are still humming. I got a gas generator in the garage with about 10 gallons in cans, but I do not know how long that lasts if the grid goes.
All right, here is your homework, Harold. Tonight after your grandson is asleep, you go out to that garage and you read the label on that generator. It will say fuel consumption at a certain load, probably so many gallons per hour at half power. You write that down, and tomorrow, during the day, you test it for exactly 30 minutes under low load. That means just your fridge and one light. You measure how much gas it uses. That way, if the grid dies, you are not guessing in the dark and running the tank dry the first night.
Copy that, Coach. I can do that. What about my daughter?
I pause. My fingers tap the desk. We are balancing truth and hope on this show. All day, every day. People are not children. They deserve real information. But I also do not want to swing an axe into the last beam of their mental scaffolding. Harold, I do not have individual info from Grant right now. Lines are down. Staff are overwhelmed. Last report, they were wall-to-wall with patients and running low on protective gear. That means your daughter is in a bad spot, but it also means she is exactly the kind of person who would stay at her post and not waste time on phone calls when every breath counts.
I figured. That sounds like her. She always stayed late. Even when she was a candy striper, she would miss dinner to sit with some old-timer who had no visitors.
Then we assume she is doing what she always does. Working. Being stubborn. If anyone at Grant hears this and can confirm, you call in using your hospital call sign or any rig you can find and say, quote, "This is for Harold about Latasha," and we will get that message on the air.
Appreciate you, Coach. Tyrell listens to you every night. He says your stories about dodgeball are corny, but he laughs, so there is that.
Tell Tyrell I heard that, and I'm upgrading his conditioning drill in the afterlife. A soft chuckle comes through, then the line drops. In the hallway outside the booth window, I can see kids moving past in pairs, masks on, carrying plastic tubs of dirty dishes back toward the kitchen. The gym is still full of cots, spaced out in neat rows with duct tape marks on the floor. The principal, Mrs. Jameson, walks by, clipboard in hand, hair pulled back into a bun that has not moved in 3 days. She glances at me through the glass, raises an eyebrow. I hold up 2 fingers, meaning 2 more segments before I take a break. She nods and keeps walking. If you just tuned in, this is Coach at Lincoln Middle, broadcasting from the quarantine shelter on the east side of Columbus. The city schools closed 3 weeks ago when the first wave hit. 2 days later, the governor ordered all public buildings converted to shelters and quarantine wards. The National Guard rolled into our parking lot with 2 trucks and a bus full of cots. A lieutenant with dark circles under his eyes handed me a laminated sheet and told me I was now the civilian liaison for this building. I told him I taught gym. He said, and I quote, "You own a whistle and you can yell at people. That is leadership enough right now." The guard unit that helped us set up pulled out 5 days ago to cover a trouble spot near Zanesville. They left us 3 pallets of meals ready to eat, 4 boxes of medical masks, 1 crate of rubber gloves, and this radio rig. They also left us 1 junior enlisted specialist who turned 18 last month and looks like he should be on the JV baseball team, not holding an M4 rifle. His name is Specialist Daniel Ortiz. Right now he is on the roof, checking for any idiots trying to sneak in through the vents. Speaking of the Guard, we have a recorded message from the Ohio Joint Emergency Operations Center. It came in yesterday on the emergency frequency before it went silent. I'm going to play it now. Parents, if you have small kids listening, this part is bureaucratic and scary. You can distract them with card games or send them to refill water bottles. I hit the red button on the deck and the rough audio starts. A calm woman's voice with that trained public information tone reads through a script.
This is the Ohio Joint Emergency Operations Center with a statewide bulletin. Effective at 0000 hours on April 27th, all county health departments will transition to regional coordination. Hospitals and clinics are instructed to enact crisis standards of care. That means triage based on survivability and available resources. Ventilators and intensive supportive measures are to be reserved for patients with the highest probability of recovery. Families are advised that not all patients will receive advanced supportive care due to resource constraints. Citizens are urged to shelter in place, maintain strict masking, and avoid gathering indoors. Law enforcement capacity is limited. Curfews may be enforced by National Guard personnel where available. This bulletin will repeat every hour until further notice.
The tape clicks off. I let the silence sit for 2 seconds. I know some of you just heard that phrase for the first time. Crisis standards of care. It is a fancy way of saying not everyone gets help anymore. Doctors and nurses are making decisions about who gets the last oxygen tank and who does not. That is not their fault. They are working in a system that ran lean for years and expected to skate by on good luck and overtime shifts. The bill came due and it is being paid in human lungs. I can feel a light pressure behind my eyes. Fatigue, maybe. Or maybe I stared at the LED panel too long. My tongue sticks a little to the roof of my mouth. I reach for the half-empty water bottle and take a slow drink. All right, enough official doom. Let us go back to the people actually trying to keep each other alive. We have time for 2 more before I hand over to the kids for the music hour. Yes, there is still a music hour. It is mostly scratched Taylor Swift CDs and a kid who insists on playing old punk tracks he found on his dad's phone, but it keeps the younger ones from climbing the walls. Next caller, you are on. The next voice is high school age, male, nervous but trying to sound cool.
Hey, Coach. This is Jaden from over by Whitehall. I used to play soccer at your field. My mom and me, we are in the basement of our duplex. There is like 6 of us total in the building still. The neighbors upstairs are coughing a lot. They keep yelling random stuff at night like they are arguing with someone, but there is nobody. My mom says it is the episodes. We cover the vents, but I can still hear them. I am trying to keep my little sister calm, but she is freaking out every time they bang on the floor. You got any tips for, keeping her from losing it?
Jaden, I remember you. You are the kid who used to fake cramps during suicides and then sprint full speed when it was time for scrimmage.
Guilty,
He says, a bit of pride slipping through the fear. Okay, for your sister. First, Give her a job. Little kids handle fear better when they have a task. Make her the official light monitor, or the snack organizer, or the game captain. Something that sounds like she is important. Second, create a routine. Morning, you both do a small workout. 10 push-ups, 20 jumping jacks, whatever your mom's ceiling can handle. Afternoon, a quiet hour where everyone reads or draws. Evening, story time. You can even make it interactive. Have her tell you what happens next instead of you dumping the whole story on her. That pulls her brain out of the loop of listening for every bump upstairs.
Yeah, but what about the yelling? It gets bad. Last night they were screaming about the walls melting. My sister asked me if the house was going to melt. I did not know what to say.
You tell her the truth filtered through the age lens. You say the neighbors are very sick and their brains are confused. Their words cannot hurt you through the floor. They are not about you. They are about what is happening inside their heads. You can feel sorry for them and still keep your own space safe.
What if they come down?
If they are just yelling, you reinforce your door. Heavy furniture wedged, blankets rolled at the bottom to block air. If they start trying to break in and they are in full episode, you do not open. You call the emergency line first. If nobody comes, and I have to be honest, that is likely right now, you use what you have to protect your family. You said you played soccer. You do not need a weapon to aim. You need something heavy and a plan. But start with the door. 90% of this game is barriers.
Mom is listening. She says thanks. She also says you still owe her $5 from that fundraiser you skipped.
Tell her our economy collapsed, so we are even. We trade a small laugh, then his voice drops.
Coach, you sound tired.
So do you, kid. That means we are both still breathing. Stay on channel after the show in case someone near Whitehall wants to link up. And hydrate. I can hear your throat drying out on the mic. The next caller comes from farther out. The signal has that fading edge that says it bounced off something metal before it reached me.
This is Sergeant First Class Amanda Keller, Ohio Army National Guard, out of the Armory near Newark. We have 31 personnel still fit for duty, 12 symptomatic, 3 confirmed deaths, 2 in critical condition. We are holding a perimeter around the Armory and the attached community shelter, about 80 civilians inside. We have small arms and limited ammunition, plus 1 Humvee that still works. We are calling to confirm whether Columbus is maintaining order or if we should consider a tactical withdrawal into more rural areas.
Sergeant Keller. This is Coach at Lincoln. First, respect to you and your people for sticking it out. Second, I cannot give you a full citywide picture. I can give you 5 blocks around this school. There are still families sheltering in place. There are at least 3 clinics functioning. The big grocery at Sunshine and Maple was looted on day 2. The pharmacy on Broad was broken into yesterday. Police presence is spotty. I saw 1 cruiser drive past at noon, and that is the first in 2 days. Helicopter overhead maybe once every 6 hours. That is it.
Copy. Higher headquarters went dark this morning. Our brigade net is full of units asking each other what to do. Nobody wants to use the word collapse on an open channel.
Let me say it then. Government response in Columbus is not collapsed, but it is staggered and bleeding. If your armory becomes a fortress with 80 civilians, you are already more effective as a local government than most state offices right now. She is quiet for a second.
Appreciate the honesty. We are wrestling with a choice. Stay where we are and burn through supplies protecting people who might be infected already, or push east to join a bigger federal effort we heard rumors about near Wheeling. A colonel came on the net yesterday talking about a consolidated safe zone with proper decontamination corridors. Sounded too organized to be fake, but we lost him to static.
It might be real. It might be some guy with a good radio and a need to feel important. Here is my civilian 2 cents. You know your people, you know your vehicles and your ammo. You also know the 80 civilians in your care by name now. Any move you make, factor in that those are not numbers. Those are specific kids and grandmas and diabetic uncles who cannot march through the hills. Holding ground takes courage. So does admitting you cannot hold it. There is no right answer that fits every unit. She exhales into the mic.
Damn, Coach. You should have been an officer.
I like my whistle, less paperwork.
Fair. If we decide to stay, we might set up a relay and rebroadcast your signal in our valley. You good with that?
You are a sergeant with guns. I am not going to argue. Yes, do it. The more people hear other voices, the less this thing chews up their heads before their lungs.
Copy. Keller out.
I lean back in the squeaky office chair and feel my spine crack. My throat is raw. The cough wants to come more often, so I hold it until I hit the music bumper. All right, this is Coach at Lincoln. I'm going to step away for 10 to let my voice remember how to be a throat and not sandpaper. In the meantime, we have a special treat. We wired up the old laptop to the board and scraped some tracks off the hard drive. The kids voted, so for the next 20 minutes you are getting what they call a vibe and I call an endurance test. You are on quarantine school radio, still breathing, still stubborn, stay tuned. I hit play, and the thin, compressed sound of a pop song fills the booth. I kill my mic and let the cough come. It racks through my chest in 3 hard bursts. Little white dots flicker at the edge of my vision for a second. I close my eyes, brace an elbow on the desk, breathe slow.
Coach?
I open my eyes. The voice is coming from the doorway. It is Mia, 8th grader, ponytail, Lincoln Lions hoodie 2 sizes too big, mask hanging off one ear like a careless flag. She is one of the kids running the music hour. Mask up, Mia. You know the rule. She fumbles it back over her face.
Sorry, Principal Jameson said to tell you there is a problem with room 12. Mr. Alvarez he is not making sense. He keeps trying to leave and saying he has to go coach his team.
My stomach drops a notch. Room 12 is one of the isolation rooms. Mr. Alvarez is the band director. He got sick 3 days ago. Is he violent? Mia shrugs, eyes wide.
He shoved Miss Patel when she tried to block the door. Not like punching, but he is strong. He keeps humming and tapping the wall. It is freaking everybody out.
Tell Jameson I'm coming right after the track ends. And Mia, stay away from room 12 unless Nurse Carla tells you different. That is not a kid job. She nods and backs away. I glance at the song progress bar. 2 minutes left. My hand moves to the fader, then stops at the cough building in my chest. I swallow it again. When the music ends, I fade it down and bring my mic back up. And we are back. This is Coach at Lincoln. Quick internal notice. Anyone assigned to the second floor, please keep that hallway clear near room 12. That is now a medical area only. If you are not on the medical team, you do not go near that door. Parents, keep your kids in your assigned rooms. If you are in room 12 right now, stay in your beds, masks on. Nurse Carla is on her way. For the outside listeners, that was your live demonstration of how this virus turns a quiet day sideways in 5 minutes. I need to step away from the mic for a short stretch to help with something on the second floor, but I'm leaving you in the capable hands of our junior announcer, Terrence T.J. Johnson, who has promised not to swear on air and to stick to the script. TJ, you got this? A teenage voice comes through, pitching a little higher than it needs to.
Yeah, Coach, I got it. This is TJ, reporting from the Lincoln Bunker. We are alive, we are tired, and we have bad music taste. Stay tuned.
I cut my mic, push back from the desk, and head out into the hallway. The air outside the booth tastes stale behind my cloth mask. The school smells faintly of bleach, old sweat, and cafeteria food. Tape lines run along the floor, marking one-way paths. We stole the idea from a hospital layout guide. On the stairwell up to the second floor, handwritten signs say things like, "Mask up past this point and no visitors." Room 12 used to be a science classroom. The ripped-out sinks and lab counters are shoved against the walls. Now there are 6 cots spaced out under the faded periodic table poster, each with a small plastic tote underneath for personal stuff. 3 cots are occupied right now. 2 patients are asleep. The third, Mr. Alvarez, is sitting on the edge of his bed with his mask pulled down, humming a marching band tune and tapping out the rhythm on his thigh. Principal Jameson stands by the door, arms folded, mask tight, eyes sharp. Nurse Carla is at the bedside, talking low. Miss Patel, who used to teach English, stands nearby with a clipboard and a face she is forcing to stay neutral.
Coach,
Jameson says,
We might need your help. He will not stay in bed.
I keep my distance, my hand on the door frame. Alvarez, buddy, how are you doing? He looks up, eyes bright but too wide, pupils a little off.
Game day, Coach. Kids are not on the field. I keep telling them. 7 in the morning warm-ups, 8 in the morning run-through, but they are not listening. I need to go to the gym.
We only ever use the gym at 6 in the morning for basketball, but I do not correct him. The kids are fine, man. The game is postponed. You remember, right? Virus, quarantine, whole world on timeout. He frowns, taps faster.
No. They will miss their cues. Tubas need me. I have to go to the field.
Carla gives me a small nod over her mask. That is her signal. Episodes. Alvarez, listen. You got hit with the air. It messed with your lungs and now it is poking around in your head. You are not on the field. You are in room 12. You are safe, but you have to stay in your cot so you do not spread it. He stands up suddenly. The blanket falls. His hospital gown hangs off one shoulder. He is breathing fast.
Do not tell me where my field is.
He snaps.
I know my field. I built that program. You were not even here in 2015, when we took regionals.
Jameson moves closer, slow and steady, hands open.
Carlos, you are one of my best staff. I need you to sit. If you fall and hurt yourself, we have no imaging, no x-ray, nothing. Then you cannot coach anyone ever again.
He looks between us, confusion flickering. For a second, the man I know is back.
Jameson?
Yes, right here.
My chest hurts.
Carla steps in, putting a hand on his shoulder, guiding him back toward the cot.
I know. Sit. We will give you another breathing treatment. Try to relax.
He lets her push him down. The rage drains out like someone flipped a switch. The humming starts again, softer now. Outside the door in the hallway, a small cluster of kids stares with big eyes. Jameson snaps her fingers.
Back to your rooms, please. This is not a show.
They scatter. I feel my heart beating harder than it should from one flight of stairs and a 5-minute tense conversation. Sweat prickles under my mask. My mouth is dry again.
You okay, Coach?
Jameson asks. Fine, just out of shape, all this sitting. She looks at me longer than I like.
Get checked by Carlo when you can. You are not invincible.
I give a half wave and head back down the stairs. Back in the booth, TJ is in my chair, reading from the handwritten sheet of community announcements in a voice that is trying way too hard to be a radio host.
And for anyone on the 3rd floor, Mr. Benson says, stop flushing wipes. It is clogging the system, and Coach will lose his mind if he has to snake the toilets again.
I tap his shoulder. He jumps. You are doing fine. Slide over. He moves, and I lower myself into the chair, feeling the protest in my knees. I put the headphones back on. This is Coach, back on quarantine school radio. Quick internal update. Situation in room 12 is under control for now. Mr. Alvarez is in bed getting meds. If you hear humming through the floor, that is him. It is not ghosts or the building singing. No rumors, please. For outside listeners, lines are open again. We are moving into what I like to call the night stretch. That is when the sun goes down, the fever spikes, and the doubts get loud. This is the part where you either sit alone with those doubts or you pick up a mic and push back. The next 30 minutes are for personal messages, lost and found, family check-ins, confessions if you really need to get something off your chest. Just remember, this is public. There is no delete key on radio. First caller, go ahead. A woman's voice comes through, shaky, with a hint of New York buried under exhaustion.
Hi, this is Rachel Bloom. I am at the Motel 6 on Refugee Road with my son, Eli. We drove from Brooklyn 3 days ago. My husband, he did not make it out. He was an infectious disease researcher at Columbia. He stayed to help, and then the city just... Anyway, our car started making a grinding noise, and we got off at the wrong exit. We saw the sign for a shelter at Lincoln Middle, but the road was blocked. We have been in this motel room since yesterday. There is a vending machine, but no staff. The other rooms are empty or locked. I heard your broadcast when I was scanning the dial. I do not know if we should try to walk to you or stay put.
Rachel, welcome to Ohio. I am sorry about your husband. First thing, how old is Eli?
7. He has asthma, but it is mild. We have his inhaler.
Any symptoms in either of you? Fever, cough, weird mental stuff?
No, we are tired and freaked out. But I think that is normal.
All right. Motel 6 on Refugee is about 1.8 miles from us. That is walkable in under an hour under normal conditions. These are not normal conditions. There are fewer cars, more desperate people, and an airborne virus in every grocery aisle. Do you have masks, real ones?
We have 2 N95 masks from my husband's work bag and some surgical masks from his office. I made Eli wear them in the car anytime we opened the window.
Good. Here is my advice, and this is me as the guy who has watched this building fill up and as the guy listening to the bigger picture. You stay put tonight. Lock your door, block the bottom with towels. Fill the tub with water in case the pressure goes out. In the morning, if you still have no symptoms and the streets look okay, you call in again and we will try to arrange an escort. We have about 4 people here who already had confirmed infection and recovered. Best guess from the data is they have some immunity. They do runs for us.
I do not want to put anyone at risk.
They volunteered. That matters. Nobody gets drafted for errands here.
What if the motel is safer? I keep thinking about that scene in every apocalypse movie where the big shelter turns into a death trap.
You are not wrong. Any group space is a risk. This school has over 100 people in it. We wear masks, we clean surfaces, we separate the sick, but this building is not special. It is cinder blocks and old paint. The difference is here you have a nurse, a principal who treats schedules like religion, a half-trained security guard, a National Guard kid with a rifle, and a gym teacher with a radio. In that motel, you have you and your son, and maybe a vending machine that runs out in 2 days.
I used to make fun of gym teachers,
she says softly. You and every 9th grader I ever taught.
I am not laughing now.
You will again. That is the bet we are making every time we flip this switch. Stay on frequency. We will check the map and send someone in the morning if the conditions allow. If things go sideways there tonight, if you hear gunshots or doors breaking, you call back and we will reassess.
Thank you, Coach. Eli says hi. He is drawing a picture of your school right now.
Tell him to include the broken basketball hoop out back. Accuracy matters. The line clicks off. Another call comes in immediately, more local, voice tight with grief.
This is Marcus in room 7 at Lincoln. Coach, can I say something to my sister?
Go ahead, Marcus. You are live. He swallows audibly.
Hey, Tasha, if you are listening from that church over on Marion Road, I am sorry I yelled at you before you left. I know you wanted to go help them. I was just scared. Mum would have told me to shut up and let you do your nurse thing. I hope the pastor there is treating you right. If you need to come back, tell Coach and I will bring you a clean mask at the door. That is it.
He stops. I give it a beat. Tasha, if you hear that and you want me to relay something back, you know where we are. Marion Road. Church, if your volunteers are listening, please write that down and tape it on your bulletin board. Yes, I know you still have a bulletin board. Churches always do. The night goes on. Calls blur into each other. A grocery clerk in Reynoldsburg describing how they tried to limit customers to 10 at a time until the automatic doors broke and a crowd pushed through. A cop from West Columbus admitting over a shaky line that his whole precinct is down to 3 officers, and they stopped responding to anything but active shootings. A farmer from just outside the city offering eggs in exchange for batteries and gasoline. His voice steady, the way people's voices get when their world always depended on weather and luck. Between calls, I read names of the dead from a list Carla brings me. We do not have official death certificates. We barely have thermometer batteries. But we write the names in a spiral notebook and I read them so they exist somewhere other than a clipboard in a room that smells like antiseptic and fear. At some point, my thoughts drift mid-sentence. I catch myself staring at the blinking green light on the board, hypnotized. The caller is saying, and then my dad just walked into the street with no shoes on, and I realize I missed his name and location completely. Sorry, say that again. Start from your name.
This is Eric, from near Cleveland. I am on a scanner. You might lose me. My dad went out without shoes, Coach. I think he is getting it.
Right. Eric from Cleveland. Got it. I write his name down and feel a small flicker of unease. That is the 3rd time today I lost track of a detail I would normally grab and lock in. Could be fatigue. Could be stage 1 creeping into stage 2 territory. I touch my forehead. Warm, but that could be the booth. It is always warm in here. We push through 2 more hours. TJ comes back in at one point with a cup of instant coffee that smells like burnt toast and despair. I drink it anyway. The bitter taste grounds me. Sometime around 11 at night, the lights flicker. The whole building seems to pause. Then the generator catches up and they steady. That was the generator reminding us it exists. That was your warning shot, Columbus. If anyone listening has experience with diesel maintenance, we could use your brain. Goose, if you are out there and not drunk, this is the part where you call in. A gruff laugh comes through less than a minute later.
This is Goose. I am at the garage on Oak, and I am only a little drunk.
Of course you are. Goose, whose real name I'm not allowed to say on air because he threatened to rewire my car horn to play polka if I did, used to run the district bus depot. He knows engines the way I know locker combinations. You hear that flicker?
Yeah, that big orange beast behind your cafeteria is overdue for a filter change. You still got that spare we stashed under the bleachers.
I blink. For a second, the image of the bleachers blurs with something else. Did we really stash a filter there? Remind me when that was?
Last summer, after the blackout drill. You complained about how heavy it was. We shoved it under the second section because you said the storage room was full of dodgeballs. You do not remember that?
I force a laugh. My brain is juggling a lot of stuff right now, Goose. It does not mean anything. He is quiet for a beat.
You need me to come over?
I look at the clock. The hands swim for a second before settling. In the morning, sunrise. Less chance of running into idiots in the dark. Bring your own mask and gloves. We will have someone meet you at the back gate.
You starting to get it, Coach?
Maybe. Maybe I am just old and tired.
You are 50. That is not old.
Feels old in a pandemic.
All right, I will see you at first light. Hang in there, and if you start repeating yourself on air, I will call in and roast you so hard, the kids will never let you live it down.
Deal. The night thins. Calls slow. At some point, Jameson sticks her head in and tells me that we are at capacity. No more beds. The next sick person who comes to our door will have to be triaged in the parking lot. The word parking lot feels heavier than it should. Around 2 in the morning, I finally cue up a long track, one of those ambient piano things Carla likes, and let my voice rest for 30 minutes. I do not sleep. I sit with my head against the wall and watch the dark rectangle of the window, listening for the generator's steady rumble. Dry mouth, occasional cough, tiny gaps in memory. I tick the signs off in my head like I'm reading from someone else's checklist. You knew this was coming, Ruiz. You have been walking through the same infected air as everyone else for 3 weeks. You share a building with 100 mouths. You help carry patients. You hold hands when they die. This job was never going to come with hazard pay and a guarantee. The thought does not scare me as much as I expected. What scares me more is the idea of the mic going dead and the silence flooding in. Morning comes without ceremony. A gray smear through the narrow window, the shuffle of feet in the hallway, the clatter of pots from the cafeteria. TJ yawns his way into the booth and drops a granola bar on the desk.
You on, Coach?
Always. I flip the switch. Good morning, Central Ohio. This is Coach at Lincoln, Middle School Quarantine Shelter, WQSR, 93.7 on your dial. Coming to you live from the land of instant coffee and questionable hygiene. Date is Monday, April 28th. Time is 7:11 in the morning. And if you are hearing this, you made it through another night. That is no small thing. Night summary. Quick. We had 3 new admissions, 2 adults and 1 teenager, all from within walking distance. 1 adult died around 4 in the morning. His name was Robert Ellis, 52, former mail carrier. He had no family with him. We sat someone with him at all times. He did not die alone. Write his name down if you keep lists. It matters. No new confirmed reports of looting within 5 blocks. We did hear gunshots from farther west around midnight. Could have been anything. Clinics are still operating, though running low on supplies. The hospital, downtown, as of last check-in at 5:30, is turning away non-critical patients. That means if you can breathe on your own, do not expect a bed. Today's priorities. Here at Lincoln, generator maintenance, water ration check, mental health, check-ins. Yes, that is a priority. If you are in this building and you feel yourself slipping, depressed, angry, numb, you find one of the counselors. We have 2. Mr. Landry and Miss Flores. They are tired too, but they know how to listen without flipping out. For the wider city, we are focusing on 3 things over the air. 1, connecting pockets of survivors. 2, spreading real medical information, not rumors. 3, giving you a place to vent. If you wake up wanting to scream, put it into words and share it here. Screaming into a pillow is fine, but it does not help the rest of us. I clear my throat and the cough grabs me again, a little harder. TJ looks at me, worry in his eyes. We are going to start today with a special segment. I am calling it, What I Wish Someone Had Told Me in Week 1. Dr. Singh and Nurse Carla helped with this list. It covers things we keep forgetting to say out loud because we assume everyone knows, but they do not. Number 1. Ventilation is your friend. If you are sharing air with other people, open windows when you can. If you cannot, use fans to move air out of the room, not just around it. Point a fan toward a slightly open window if you can. That pulls some of the viral load out. Number 2. Masks work best when everyone wears them. It is not about you protecting yourself from others only. It is about you protecting others from you in case you are pre-symptomatic. Yes, they are uncomfortable. So are ventilator tubes. Pick your discomfort. Number 3. Avoid shouting indoors. Loud talking sends more droplets into the air. If you absolutely must argue outside or use your indoor voice. I cannot believe that is a real sentence I'm saying on air, but here we are. Number 4. Do not spray random chemicals in the air. That does not kill this thing, and it just messes with your lungs more. Wipe surfaces, wash hands, leave the fog machines to haunted houses, which we do not have anymore. I glance at the note Jameson taped to the wall last night. In thick marker it says, "Do not collapse on air." I know she meant that as a dark joke. My brain files it under instructions anyway. Time for check-ins. Goose, if you are awake and not hungover, the back gate is open for you. Anyone at Motel 6 on Refugee, including Rachel and Eli, we are listening. Marion Road Church, Beechwood Apartments, St. Anne's, Groveport, Newark. Armory, this is your roll call. Let us know you made it through the night. One by one, the voices answer. Some sound stronger than yesterday. Some do not answer at all. We note the silences. We do not assume yet. Radios fail. People sleep through alarms. But each silence adds weight to the room. Rachel comes on, sounding groggy but intact.
We are here, no symptoms. Eli is eating stale chips and acting like this is a vacation. The parking lot was quiet all night. No cars, no people.
Good. Stay put. Goose is on his way to us. If he does not drop dead on the path, we will send a team to you after lunch. Groveport checks in next. Harold's voice is duller.
Tyrell took a turn around 3 in the morning. Fever spiked. He started talking about cartoons he watched when he was 5. He is quiet now, but he looks through me. Shannon from the next farm over brought us some electrolyte mix. We are hanging on.
We stay on with him a little longer, talking through positioning, hydration, signs that mean it is time to let go. His breathing gets rough at one point, and I realize he is holding back tears. Sergeant Keller at Newark comes on, voice clipped but resolute.
We held. No incursions overnight. We buried 2 more civilians in the field behind the armory. We decided to stay put for now. That Wheeling safe zone can wait. Our people cannot.
I feel something loosen in my chest that is not virus. Good call, Sergeant. When this is over, the history books will not remember the exact coordinates of your armory, but they will remember the kind of choices people like you made. She snorts.
If there are history books, Keller out.
Hours blur. The broadcast becomes a rope we all hold. My voice frays around the edges. I start writing more notes because my short-term memory is not as sharp. At one point, I read the same announcement twice. Jameson calls in on the internal channel and gently points it out.
You already told them about the hand-washing stations, Nate.
Did I?
Yes, 20 minutes ago.
I look at the clock. The numbers feel slippery. Copy that. Thanks. When we go to music for a short break, Jameson steps into the booth.
Sit,
she says. I am sitting.
Sit and shut up for a second.
I shut up. She puts the back of her hand to my forehead through her glove, checks my pulse, watches my eyes.
You are running a fever,
she says. Could be anything.
You repeated the hand-washing announcement and then read Thursday's dinner menu. Today is Monday, Nathan.
The words land heavy. I know what that means.
So do I.
I stare at the mic. The thin metal body, the foam windscreen that TJ once bit as a joke, the worn cable running to the board. This little setup is our town square now. You going to bench me, Coach? She almost smiles.
Yeah, I am. Starting tonight.
Who runs the booth then?
TJ plus whoever else you train in the next 6 hours. You can assist, but you are not on air after dark. You go to room 11. You let Carla run labs and stick thermometers in unpleasant places, and you do not argue.
What if I just keep going until I drop?
Then you will start saying things that hurt more than they help. This station is bigger than your ego.
It is not ego. She softens.
I know, it is fear. The same fear that keeps you up here every hour. But the kids are watching you. If you pretend you are not sick, they will pretend too when it hits them. We cannot afford that.
I let out a breath I did not know I was holding. All right, new plan. I do a handover on air. We do not hide it, we model it. She nods.
Good. I will go warn Carla you are finally acting like a grown-up.
When the song ends, I bring the mic up one more time with my name at the top billing. This is Coach at Lincoln. I have an announcement that is about me this time. I am not usually that guy, but here we go. I am running a fever. I have started repeating myself and losing small pieces of time. Those are early neurological signs of the virus. That means I am moving into the next stage. Silence on the line. I imagine hundreds of ears leaning closer. Here is why I am telling you this. 1. You deserve honesty. 2. I need you to see what doing the right thing looks like even when your brain is trying to lie its way out of it. After this segment, I am stepping back from the mic and moving into medical observation. I will not be on air tonight. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not again. I do not know. I hear a faint sniff from TJ's side of the board. I do not look at him. If I do, I will lose my voice. In my place, you are going to start hearing more from some up-and-coming talent. You already know TJ. He is going to run point with a rotating crew. Principal Jameson will step in for official updates. Dr. Singh will call in with medical segments when her patients allow. Sergeant Keller has offered to rebroadcast parts of our show from the armory. This is not the coach show. It never was. It is your show. Your voices. Your stories. Now, because I am still me, I'm going to give you homework before I go lie down and let someone poke me with thermometers. Today, everybody listening does 3 things. 1, you check on the weakest person in your building. Not just physically, but emotionally, the quiet kid. The old neighbor who used to rant about politics, the guy who stopped telling jokes 3 days ago. You knock on their door, you stand 6 feet away with a mask, and you ask how they are holding up. Then you listen. 2, you write one thing down. A memory, a name, a list of who is in your house, what day it is, what the street outside smells like. Put it on paper. The virus can take a lot from us, but it cannot erase ink. 3, you make a plan for who takes over your tasks if you get sick. If you are the only one who knows how to start the generator, teach someone else. If you are the only one with the radio code, share it. If you are the one who cooks, show somebody how to work the stove without burning the place down. Do not be a single point of failure. I failed that test here, a little. I hogged the mic. That ends now. I look at TJ. His eyes are wet, but his jaw is set. TJ, get over here. He leans toward my mic.
Yeah, Coach?
Tell Central Ohio who you are. He clears his throat.
My name is Terrence Johnson. I am 16. I used to skip homeroom and play on my phone in the bathroom. I thought this school sucked. Now it is keeping me alive. I am going to run this board and keep the station on as long as we have power. I do not know what I am doing, but Coach showed me the buttons and I can learn. So, stick with us.
I nod. Perfect. I turn back to the mic one last time. To everyone out there in apartments and farmhouses and armories and motel rooms. To the truck drivers on empty interstates. To the nurses in plastic gowns. To the kids hiding in closets with radios pressed to their ears. You are not alone. Not as long as a handful of stubborn people in a middle school staff lounge can keep the lights on and the signal strong. If my voice does not come back on this line, remember the basics. Breathe slow. Mask up. Open the windows when the weather allows. Trust the science. Question rumors. Be kind when you can. And fierce when you must. Write names down. I feel the room tilt faintly. My tongue fumbles the next word. This is Coach Nathan Ruiz, former gym teacher, current loudmouth, signing off for medical timeout. Quarantine school radio stays on the air. Stay alive to hear it. I take off the headphones and hand them to TJ. His hands shake as he puts them on.
Coach?
He whispers off mic. Yeah?
You coming back?
I look at the board. The little forest of sliders and knobs. The battered mic that carried my voice farther than I ever traveled. Out in the city, radios sit on kitchen counters and milk crates and hospital carts, each one a small ear in the dark. I do not know, kid. Out loud, I say, if I can, I will. Then I stand up, steady myself on the edge of the desk as the room swims for a second, and walk toward Room 11, following the taped line on the floor, listening to TJ's unsteady but determined voice fill the hallway speakers behind me.